Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, February 1st, 2024. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. 33 heads of state are expected to be among 400 diplomats coming together here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the 8th Summit of the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC, to be held on March 1st, 2024. The heads of government or their representatives are expected to arrive in the state on February 29th for the opening ceremony of the summit on March 1st, 2024. On radio yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves said the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, is among those who have indicated their intention to come to SVG for the summit.
I think it's the first time Antonio Guterres, or any Secretary General for that matter of the United Nations, is coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Before, since independence. Well, when we were a colony, they would not come. And the other persons we have invited from the US, from Europe, from Africa, from India, from the ASEAN countries, that is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So it's going to be quite an event. And imagine Sandals opening with CELAC, the 33 nations of CELAC, that's 650 million people. Then you're having representatives coming from Europe, from Africa. I haven't heard who's coming from India yet, but they have been invited to. But this thing is going to be beamed worldwide.
Yeah.
And this is something which Sandals, I mean, the publicity, I mean, they have a splendid public relations machinery. Can you imagine what they're going to do with this? And for us, for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, for people, you're driving in, you see the 33 flags, Sandal Zone, at the area, the reception area. And as you watch through the open space, with the swimming pools, the jacuzzi, the place lined with palms and the well thing, and you see how this layout in this beautiful valley. And you watch straight ahead of you, you're seeing the allure of the Caribbean Sea.
Prime Minister Gonsalves noted that St. Vincent and the Grenadines and other member states of CELAC have benefited tremendously from SVG holding the pro tempore presidency of the grouping of 33 countries.
The first time for 8 years, an agreement under our leadership, an agreement with the European Union, a comprehensive agreement of benefit, material benefit to us in a number of different areas, and they're being worked out on an ongoing basis. That's one. The African Union met the entire leadership of the African Union. The work which we are doing for the ABCD Commission, which will be transformative. We're laying the groundwork for it, and I will continue to work with that. We've been pushing science, technology, and innovation, not only with Venezuela, but with other countries in Latin America, including Brazil. Sabota has had 2 agriculture and food security summits. There are a lot of practical things. Mexico, with matters concerning the issue of the regulatory mechanism for pharmaceutical products and the production of pharmaceutical products. You remember when COVID, unless USA, Canada, Britain, or Europe, or the WHO, their regulatory agencies said yes. They didn't want us to use any of the other vaccines. Well, there's a highly developed pharmaceutical sector. It's evolving in Mexico, in Brazil, in Argentina, in Colombia. It could happen in our region too. But we have to have a regulatory agency. You see where I'm coming from? All these are practical. Then, of course, a security issue. We're collaborating. And then our leadership with the Argyle Declaration. and to bring peace between Guyana and Venezuela, which could have gotten out of hand. You see now the importance of we taking CELAC.
Ahead of the upcoming 8th CELAC Summit, the 45th meeting of National Coordinators of CELAC was held here on Thursday, November 30th, 2023, to advance the process of formulating a CELAC Kingston Declaration. The declaration document, which includes decisions or proposals aimed at further strengthening the unity and socio-economic development among CELAC member countries, was expected to be refined and submitted to Ministers of Foreign Affairs of CELAC for their review and approval before submitting to the heads of the March 1st summit here in SVG. Noting that the arrangements for the one-day summit are coming along fine, Prime Minister Gonsalves said Sandals Resort SVG, which will be hosting the event, will need some time to further test their systems and will formally open to the public at the end of March 2024. Opposition MP for Central Kingstown, Sinclair Leacock, said, given the size of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, an export-led strategy has to be adopted not only as part of the thinking of intentions, but as a policy of the government to help feed the population of just over 100,000. Leacock was speaking on the issue at an online forum hosted last evening by the New Democratic Party, the NDP.
The first thing that we really need to do as far as I'm concerned is to get away from the generalities and be more specific and targeted about what we want to do in the development of our St. Vincent. You know, it's fairly easy, and we all do it, both sides are doing it. Jobs, 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 jobs. And someone said, from where and how? Where they? How we do it, you know? We really need to be pretty clear-eyed at this time as to what we do, how we do those things that we are promising. And I come from the point of view that there's an imperative that we must address. The imperative is that we are just 150 square miles. We are about 100,000 people. And by any math, 150 square miles cannot generate enough of an economic marketplace to feed 100,000 people. And that's why, in a sense, remittances loom so large. Stop the barrels and we're there. We start. Or we'll be in a bad way. So if we come from that realization that our marketplace is just simply too small to generate the kind of economic activity that is required to take care of our people, then we can comfortably accept that we have to be outward looking, which we have always been as a nation. We've always been outward looking. And in that regard, it becomes a part of the national psyche, a part of the political drive that we must be, and my usage driven, but I'll still a short as well the word led. We must become an export-led economy. And to give a sharp distinction, you ask my colleague, how do we do that? Well, building a port, grand as it is, and important as this, if you don't have a philosophy, then it will be more of the same. We continue to import, and wipe out trade balances. Something must drive and trigger our strategy.
Opposition Senator Israel Bruce, also a panelist on the program, said that in looking at an export-led economy, one has to take a close look at the sectors which will help to develop such an economy.
We begrudgingly, I'd say the agricultural sector allows itself to provide such an impetus, yes? Now, when you look at the mission as advocated by the current administration in terms of the agricultural ministry and what are the strategic priorities, you would see as a recurring decimal year after year that they objectively say that they seek to reduce our importation and increase the exportation. That's a beautiful idea, but there has to be the creation of a synergy between the thoughts and the practical. You have to make what you think come to a reality. What is it we're doing? Once we say so, we're doing the very opposite. Case in point. If you were to look at the statistics and see the quantity of poultry products that we bring into this country, meat products that we import, white potatoes we import, carrots we import. Onions, we import. Garlic, we import. And the list goes on and on and on. But how could we, as a St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with rich, fertile soil, cannot bring ourselves to the place where we say that we can produce sufficient carrots, onions, string beans, garlic, white potatoes of the kind and quantity that first of all deals with local consumption and then look to the possibility or probability of exportation. I say we can. But we have been practically lazy in terms of leadership, in terms of what we do in this country.
Pointing to the need for a marketing corporation and innovative hub to help farmers and small business operators, Public Relations Officer of the NDP, Lavon King, said an export-led economy will ensure the country save more resources and provide better livelihoods.
I think that one of the major problems that continues to plague our farmers is the fact that a lot of time you have all of this time, you spend almost most of your working hours in the farm. Where do you then find the energy, the resources to then now and come back and market again? Indeed, too, not everybody has the same skill set.
That's it. That's it.
So, whereas fortunately for my team at Grenadines Gold, I have the skill set to design a flyer, to design a package that makes it look appealing for a demographic outside of St. Vincent and Grenadines. A marketing board in place for our farmers could help them with those sort of things. And if we go into making St. Vincent and the Grenadines more of a niche country where we provide organic produce, we now can push brand St. Vincent as a country that produces organic white potatoes and so forth. And so we come under this one umbrella. We fetch a higher dollar for produce under that, and then you take it to the marketing board, having established a certain standard, and then we know that we're at a place that is ready for export. And when you fetch the higher dollar, it comes back your cost of living. You can now do more things with the money that you make. You can now correct government revenue increases.
Services.
Correct. You have less people on social programs, therefore less persons needing welfare assistance. More money could now go back into healthcare services. So you see, heading into the direction of being more export-led and driven gets more resources, finances coming back into the country, better livelihoods.
Persons can be fined or imprisoned under the Census and Statistics Act number 24 of 1993 if they refuse to cooperate and furnish the information provided to the field officers during the National Housing and Population Census. This is according to a statistician in the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Information Technology, Jacinta Payne, who on the VC3 Roundtable Talk program last evening used the opportunity to encourage persons to cooperate with the census field officers.
And be fined or imprisoned for not furnishing the information that we want. However, we have not, since the taking of these censuses, enforced this act, and we hope that we don't have to get to that place. So far, most persons have been very cooperative, despite, yes, you'll have the few who would be reluctant to provide us with the necessary information that we want. But you know, we believe that we're civil people and we expect everyone to participate after hearing and knowing the importance of this exercise. But yes, there is.
Explaining the importance of a population census, economist Shaniko Sutherland outlined the consequences of not having truthful answers provided for the census.
Of not getting accurate information would be, we wouldn't be planning properly because the information that we're getting does not reflect the reality. So for example, as Jamal was saying, for the questions related to age, we are seeing that most of our population is moving to the middle age group and less is going to the younger groups. So of course that helps us to understand what are the services that those middle age group people want. But if the information provided does not give us a true picture of what that is, then we can't accurately deal with their needs or respond to what that group of the population would want us to do. So that's also another important downside if the information we get is not accurate.
But The good thing is over the last couple of years, we have not been having that much problem with missing or untruthful information. So I must give the public kudos for that. Those persons who have been answering the questionnaires, we have not noticed any discrepancies in the answers so far. So I must say thank you for that.
Payne also outlined some of the challenges that the field officers have been encountering since the start of the population census.
Asking and we're appealing to the public, please, because we know of cases where enumerators have reported that persons would say to them, oh, come back tomorrow. And then when they return tomorrow, it's another story. Oh, come back on Saturday. Yes, we understand that, situations may arise, that you have to take care of. But what we have seen or recognize is that quite a number of persons, it's almost like an indirect form of refusal when you do that. And, quite frankly speaking, most of the enumerators, despite the fact that we pay them an allowance for transportation and telephone, most of them have already exceeded that allowance that we'll be paying them, having had to return to homes over and over and over again. And that is a complaint and also a reason why we have quite a number of our enumerators now giving up in the field, because sometimes they go to these homes, there are nobody at home. Even at times they go to homes and they complain about the hostile treatment that they receive from persons within the public. And they're not used to persons, speaking to them in that manner, addressing them in that manner. There are some persons we engage them, and within a matter of a week, some within a matter of a day, they would come back and they would bring back the materials to us and say that they can't continue.
Senior statistician Jamal Byron reminded Vincentians that all information given to the field officers will be kept strictly confidential.
Information that they give would be confidential, and it is held in the strictest confidence. A lot of persons think that when they give information, this person may have access to it, that person, but one of the most important things is that information that you give will be held in the strictest confidence.
To ensure that this is obtained, every single field staff, including staff within our office, are required to sign what is called an oath of secrecy. Yes, and this would ensure that the information that they collect is held in the strictest confidence. If they do not do this, they can actually be fined or even imprisoned.
Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Roger Duncan, is advising persons of all ages with respiratory illnesses to take the necessary precautions against the increased levels of Saharan dust in the atmosphere.
Persons must have seen the advisories that have been out about Sahara dust crossing the islands over the next couple of days. And this is significant. And again, as we usually do during these periods, we ask in people who have significant allergies, people who are asthmatic, keep your medication on hand, please. If you don't have to come outside, please don't. If you come outside, it's probably good to wear a mask. And if you've been outside, as soon as you get back inside, it'll be good to wash your face and your hands and parts of your body that would have been exposed to the dust.
Dr. Duncan is also strongly advising children not to play outdoors while the Saharan dust is still present in the atmosphere, as this could result in serious respiratory problems.
Little kindergarten kids, they're usually outside, and that's good. They need the physical activity and need the interaction. But during the next couple of days, probably this is something we want to limit as much as you could. So be aware, be alert, please. If you're asthmatic, keep your medication. If you have sensitive eyes, make sure you wear sunglasses to keep your eyes protected from the dust. Just look out when the dust is there, and you can see it. If you look at the horizon, you can see it's dusty. That's not rain, that's dust.
Students who sat the 2023 examinations for their CELAC, CAPE, and Associate degrees will be presented with the $500 gift award for their outstanding performance on Friday, February 9th, 2024. A news release from the Ministry of Education says that to be eligible for the award, CELAC students must have gained 5 passes, grades 1 to 3, including mathematics and English A. CAPE students must have gained passes grades 1 to 5 in at least 2 2-unit subjects, as well as in the single unit Communication Studies or Caribbean Studies in 2 consecutive years. Students in the various associate degree programs must have gained at least a B average. Teacher education programs require a GPA of at least 2.75. The total number of recipients for the monetary award is 795, categorized in the following: CSEC 437, CAPE 203, Associate Degrees 124. The ministry says of the recipients who gained associate degrees and are identified to receive the award from the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, 124 are from the Division of Arts, Sciences and General Studies and the Division of Technical and Vocational Education, and 31 from the Division of Teacher Education. Recipients of the award are asked to present themselves at the Villa campus of the SVGCC at 9 a.m. on February 9th, 2024 with proof of identity bearing a photograph. The Ministry of Education says it acknowledges the invaluable contribution made by its stakeholders and partners to the enterprise of education, and the monetary award is the fulfillment of an obligation to reward all students whose performance meets established standards of excellence. More than 50 schools are expected to participate in the 2024 annual Juicy Primary School Performing Arts Festival, PRISPAF, which will officially open on February 6, 2024. In a recent radio interview, Cultural Officer Maxine Brown said the Department of Culture has a packed program of activities planned for 2024, which will commence with the PRISPAF Festival.
We have a packed annual calendar with people, but it's always said it's got to do things step by step, and so I can quickly say with surety that PRISPAF is on. PRISPAF is the acronym for the Primary Schools Performing Arts Festival. February is almost here, and we are ready for the program that continues to actively engage all schools in the showcase of diverse talents. This program is PRISPAF, and PRISPAF is in collaboration with the Department of Culture in the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture, and the Ministry of Education.
Brown said PRISPAF 2024 will be held at different schools across the country to encourage the participation of more students, and that the preliminary judging will be conducted from the commencement date of the festival, February 6th until February 29th. The cultural officer said 2 grand days are slated for March 7th and 8th to showcase the school's performances in the preliminary stage of the festival.
It's usually held in 2 parts, preliminaries and grandees. During the preliminary round, the Department of Culture selects adjudicators, about 3, who will visit all the participating primary schools. Each school is required to showcase their PRISPAF package. The assigned adjudicators will select the best 2 items from each school. The best selections will be featured on the grandees. The Department of Culture combines the best from each school in one grand production dubbed Grandees. Preliminary round will be held from February 6th, it's almost here, and then will run until the 29th of February 2024. This year, the official launch of PRISPAF will be held on February 6th.
The purpose of the Primary Schools Performing Arts Festival, PRISPAF, is to highlight the diverse talent of students. The festival is a collaborative effort of the Ministry of Education and the Department of Culture. The Major Crimes Unit of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force has opened an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of Keith Davis, alias Engine Head of Otley Hall. The police say Davis was on Wednesday, the 31st January 2024, sometime after 5 p.m., found lying motionless in an unfinished house in Otley Hall, with what appeared to be gunshot wounds about his body. The police responded to the incident, and the scene was processed by the crime scene unit. A medical practitioner pronounced Davis deceased at the scene at 7:35 p.m. A postmortem examination is expected to be carried out on the body to ascertain the cause of death. The SVG-PF extends condolences to everyone who is negatively affected by the incident and said officers are following several leads to ascertain the facts and circumstances surrounding the incident. Anyone with information that can assist with the investigation and other crimes is encouraged to contact the Criminal Investigations Department or Major Crimes Unit. And Raheem De Silva, a 24-year-old laborer of Redemption Shops, has been charged with the offense of murder on Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. De Silva is accused of causing the death of Rudolph Pollard, formerly of Redemption Shops, by an unlawful act on January 21st, 2024 in Kingstown. The accused was arraigned at the Kingston Magistrates Court on Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. He was not required to plead to the indictable charge. The case was adjourned to the 6th of May 2024 and has been transferred to the Serious Offences Court for a preliminary inquiry. De Silva was remanded in custody. The increasing number of homicides in the country has been a source of frustration for the RSVG police force, especially with the majority committed by the use of firearms. Last year, 42 of the murders committed were by the use of firearms, which the police say is a significant number. On the COP chat program on WeFM today, Deputy Commissioner of Police Frankie Joseph said, while crime in its entirety has decreased, gun-related crimes remain a major concern for the RSVG police force. Hence the reason why a national firearms amnesty will soon be implemented to give persons the opportunity to hand over illegal firearms and ammunition, which he said they are hoping will help reduce gun-related crimes.
And coupled with that, we had a number of cases where persons were shot, injured, they survive. We also had a number of cases where persons were shot after and were not injured. So when you look at all that, those firearms related offenses, it is significant. Therefore, we thought it is overdue, long overdue, that we have an amnesty where we would ask persons with illegal firearms, illicit firearms, to turn them in to the police. And during the period of the amnesty, once you turn in your firearm, there will be no prosecution against you. Absolutely no prosecution against you. So we do not want persons out there with illegal, illicit firearms to think that we are going to treat them. The document, the amnesty document, it is binding. Whatever we put in the document is exactly what we are going to do. And in the document, it tells you that once you surrender your firearm during the amnesty period, there will be absolutely no prosecution for you. So we are hoping that the persons out there actually will be listening to our programs, listening to the information that we are disseminating in the program, and turn in those weapons.
Assistant Commissioner of Police Trevor Bailey, who was also a panelist on the program, said the use of firearms is more prevalent in St. Vincent and the Grenadines now than in the past, and he provided some statistics to support his point.
So just take a quick glance and tell you that between 2005 and 2013, we had St. Vincent and the Grenadines recorded 220 murders, right? Of the 220, 95 were used, or 95 were committed by the use of firearms. Take the last 2 years, 2022 and 2023. We had recorded on our books 94 murders, 71 were committed by the use of firearms. So the firearms use is real prevalent, more prevalent now than then.
On the procedure of handing over firearms under the National Amnesty, which will run from March 1st to May 30th, 2024, ACP Bailey said pre-arrangements can be made to do so. However, they are urging persons to avoid handing over a loaded firearm, and if they do, to be extra careful.
Now, if you're not sure as to how to do that, but you keep your fingers away from the trigger guard at all times, and in the process of handing over, please alert the officer that I have not removed any ammunition from the weapon. It is loaded. So even though he's taking the weapon and will be alert as to that possibility, the reminder from you that you did not remove will assist even further preventing any accident from happening. So once that is declared up front, we know how to handle it. We also asking persons to, if you place your firearm in a plastic bag, and if you have tape, you tape it tight. So we know it's not loose, it can't shake about. And we're also saying that any accessory parts that you have, so if you have a firearm, but you also have an extra magazine, we're asking you to hand that in as well. Or if you have, let's say, a 9mm pistol, and you have the butt for a shotgun, we are also asking you to hand over the butt for that shotgun as well. So any component parts of any firearm, we are asking you to hand over those as well.
The last firearms amnesty held in 2003 netted only 19 firearms. The RSVG police force is hoping for a more successful amnesty this year, with persons being given the opportunity to hand over illegal firearms to not only the police, but several other agents, including ministers of religion, justices of the peace, lawyers, solicitors, parliamentarians, and principals. In other police news, an investigation has been launched by the police in the Spring Village district into the circumstances surrounding a suspected drowning that occurred on Wednesday, the 31st January 2024 at Cumberland Bay, which claimed the life of Devon Morgan, alias Sleepy, a 33-year-old fisherman of Barley. According to preliminary investigations, at about 12:25 p.m. yesterday, police at the Spring Village police station received a telephone report stating that someone had drowned at Cumberland Bay. The police promptly responded. Upon arrival at the scene, they met a male lying on the shore of Cumberland Bay in an unresponsive state and surrounded by bystanders. The deceased was later identified by a fisherwoman of Barley. According to the police, reports further suggest that Morgan was among a group of persons who were fishing in the waters of Cumberland Bay. He reportedly encountered difficulties and fell overboard from the vessel. Other fishers rendered assistance, pulled Morgan out of the water, and performed CPR on him without success. Morgan was pronounced deceased at the scene by a medical practitioner. A postmortem examination is expected to be conducted on the body to ascertain the cause of death. The RSVG-PF extends condolences to everyone who is negatively affected by the incident and is asking anyone with information that can assist with the investigation to contact the Spring Village Police Station at 458-2322. Any police station or police officer you're comfortable speaking with. The police say information received will be treated confidentially.